European side? We're good? Okay, perfect. Good morning and afternoon, everybody. For those of you guys that are on the European side, thanks for joining us today. Can you just put in a webinar chat to make sure that you can hear me okay? Just give a thumbs up. Bill, Amanda, Alexis, those of you guys that are on, if you just kind of type in. All right, Ben, we got a thumbs up. Audio and video coming through clear. Okay. Excellent. Hi, Todd. All right. Those of you that came in with questions, if you don't mind, just kind of popping those questions into the webinar chat. Megan and I will.
Talking through trials today, so.
We're gonna do trials today?
Trials today.
Sorry, it is trials, not events. How do you check for trial? Okay. Trials, not events. We're gonna talk about trials. So Megan's gonna just go through the system right now and quickly just show us how trials work in our system. How do we use it? What do we set it up for? And then maybe we can start questions. What do you think? All right, so let's jump into it. Okay. Just for sharing purposes, can you let me know what type of trials you are offering right now? Just put that in the chat for us. If you're offering, let's say, a one-day trial class, a month with the uniform at $49 or $99, 2-week trial, you can put that in. That'll kind of give us a good idea to where to start when you're here with us. All right, great, thanks. I'm seeing the chats here, so you can just start going through like what are some like best practices maybe? Okay.
Sure, so for trial build-outs, that's all going to be under services and products trials here. And this is where you are able to add different trial options that are available to be selected. And you can see for any trial options that you have, you are also able to see how many you've had registered and your net sales for those different trial types. Coming inside one of these options here for any trials, you're able to give them a title, a subtitle, an image, a description, and you are also able to add a registration redirect URL here, which
can we talk about that real quick? What is that used for? Like why would I want to use a registration redirect URL?
So this is just taking someone after they've registered to a specific web page of your choosing. So you can lead them to your website, you can lead them to your class schedule. If you've built any sort of hidden thank you page that's got information for them to know before they come in on their first day, then you can redirect them there as well. So it's a good opportunity to take them somewhere specific after they've signed up for the trial and provide them that extra information.
Okay, so, and this is really good because I know if you have not set up automations yet, you want to be like, hey, I want to let them know what they can expect, what to wear. Should I stay with my child? Am I allowed to stay and watch class, right? Sometimes parents get overwhelmed by emails, and of course you want to set up SMS texting too, right? With your automation, what to expect. But having them at the registration point, register for your trial, and then take them to a web page immediately that says, hey, this is what can I expect. I think the chances of them seeing that are going to be a lot more, right? So that's why we have that registration redirect URL. So if you don't have like a one website page that can tell them what to expect, I recommend investing in that. It's not a lot of money to do that, especially if you have a website provider. They should be able to create a page for you, and you can put that right in your trial. It's just a great way to introduce people to let them know what to expect.
You can make it a hidden page as well, so it's not on the general website, but you still have a link for it. So if you don't want anyone going on your website and seeing that like Q&A, then
what to expect on my first day, right? Okay, you talk about like classes, like in the past we may recommend like put your class schedule there, but we have the option now for them to choose their first class, don't we?
For the select start date. So first I'll go through the pricing and then we can look at the start date. But for pricing, this is where you're able to select how much that trial is going to cost. So I know a lot of you said first class free. So that would be setting it to $0 and it's good for one day. So after the day that they select their class here in this next section, then it would just expire 1 day later so that they are all set. See one for 2 weeks for $29, so that would be $29. 2 weeks. You can also add discount codes if you need to. So maybe if you take an extra 10 off around like the holidays, you could add, a Christmas code and take an additional amount off if they've got a discount there. Select start date is where we can connect to the class schedule so they can select a specific class for their first day. So if you set the schedule to custom classes, you'll see all of the classes that you created in your class schedule under services and products. These are the class types, so it'll give them any of the day and time options for that class type.
All right, let's pause right here. This is big, right? I see one you have for trial lessons, right? And let's save that real quick, or let's just not save it. Let's go to your classes right now. Let's say you click trial lesson, but let's go to your classes setup, right? And I'm gonna pivot here real quick before we go to what this registration looks like, right? If I go to my class schedule, I am setting up, let's say, my trial lessons. Can you click on that one there? Right? You created a class type that is trial lessons. And here you put the details, maybe the class appointment subtitle is available to first-time students, maybe, right? To give more options to people. And again, we're giving the ability for you to hide this on the general schedule, so that is coming. That's actually in the works right now. But right now, let's just say available to first-time students. Let's save that. Click on the registration. What do I do here? Like, I don't want my current students, Megan, to sign up for this class by accident. Like, how can I restrict this so only new students will come into that?
So you can see we actually had already done this. So under would you like to set registration access? You're going to say yes. And this is where you can limit which memberships and which trials are allowed to take this. So in this case, we want to allow anyone with a trial to sign up for a trial lesson. But we do not want to allow anybody with a membership to sign up.
What if I have like different classes I want for different trials? Like I have a Tiny Tigers program that's 4 to 6. I don't want them to go into a children martial arts class that's like 6 to 10 or the adult class. Like how do I limit that so that the correct trial students go to the correct class?
So you can set up restrictions based on the class category or the class type. So if this is a trial lesson class type that you are setting just for your Tigers, so for your little ones.
Okay, can you talk me through the step? Let's go back to the details. Like what am I naming this here?
So you could say this was the trial lessons for Tigers.
Perfect. Okay.
And save that name.
Okay.
Now when I go to the registration here.
And so I can create different trial lessons for like tigers, adults. I don't know, cubs, panda, whatever I want.
Whatever animal, yeah.
Okay.
So instead of trials all, you can do custom restrictions and you can limit that to say that only somebody with a Tigers trial is allowed to take this.
I got it. So I should set up different trials for different types of programs.
Yes. It's generally good practice to have your trial options match your membership categories. So if you have a Tigers membership and Tigers classes, then you would want to have a Tigers trial. And then you can track separately how your numbers look for that group, how many trials do I get for my Tigers versus how many trials do I get for my adults. And then of those groups, now you can also see things like how you're converting on those separate groups when they go to then sign up for their programs.
Yeah, this is important, right? Because again, I always go back to making sure we know how many Tiger students are signing up compared to how many adult students, right? Sometimes we kind of overthink because we're adults. We may market more to the adult program, but if we have the data to see that actually out of 100 trials or 300 trials that came in last year, 80% of them were Tigers, I may want to shift a lot more of my resources that way. Right, that's what you're saying. Okay, so great. Megan has set this up through only trial lesson Tiger classes is available for the Tigers martial art trial. So let's take a look. Let's take a look into how this registration process look, how you set it up. So let's go back to your trial.
Save that. Gonna have to leave it on all because I selected it for a different trial.
Okay.
It's okay.
No. So let's leave by all right now. So let's go back. Okay. So now you have the Tigers martial art trial. Can you've edited that? Make sure you have the class set up properly.
Pricing 0.
So free 2-week trial.
Oh,
1-day trial.
I was gonna do 1 day for
Okay, let's do 1 day.
That seemed to be the most popular one in the chat there.
Okay, good. 1 day free.
And then select start date. Instead of connecting it to the regular Tigers class, I'll connect it to the trial lessons for Tigers. And hit save.
And let's use the redirect field right now to encouragemartialarts.com. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's just say that's my welcome first day, what can expect, blah 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 page, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and see what this registration process looked like for the student here.
Sure. So under the details, there is a URL for this specific trial option. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open that up. Okay, so they've got little page here and then select first class.
Yeah, instead of select start date, right? You have an open date, it is just a date.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Not necessarily a day you actually have classes.
Yeah.
So this is going to open up my class schedule, but it is pre-filtered to only show the trial lessons Tigers because that is what I connected to for select start date. So then they can pick, all right, I'll come next Tuesday at 5. And now Tuesday is my start date and it's good for 1 day after that. So for 1 day, so on Wednesday, March 19th, that'll expire and they can fill out their information here. So let me.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. So
you wanted the redirecting word?
Oh yeah, show how to redirect it. Yeah, just put some information in there.
Yeah.
Well, so Bill, you kind of put in there like you're currently setting up paid trials for like 1 day. So this is how you can do it, not have 3 or 4 steps, right? You literally are going in your class schedule and you can add certain classes on different days. And then make it not recurring. So you can continue to add to your class schedule, but your trials are always set up to reflect that class schedule you're updating, right? So it's only 1 step on how to do that. So that's how I recommend to do it, Bill. Okay, Todd, thank you for saying the redirect very helpful. We're gonna see how here, Megan, how to create a hidden page. A hidden page is just a URL website that you don't show to everybody. You know, that someone can't access to your main page. It could be like www.myhiddenpage.com. If you are working with a website provider, I recommend you to just ask them to create you a web page that you don't show on your main page, but you give that URL to people like here, right? So let's say encouragemartialarts.com, nobody knows about that. And the only way they'll know about it is when they click register here and they click OK, and then right away I'm redirecting them to this, to our webpage. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just a website that I'm not publicly marketing to everybody. We are also updating our webpage as well. We're kind of working with Encourage to kind of show you some of the different ways that we are, kind of introducing and updating our website capabilities in the system. But more information to come with that soon. All of this is kind of in our V2 process. Thank you, Megan. So let's go back. Let's take a look at questions now. So Ben, I see you asking, do we need to manually adjust the status of the trial after, like they sign onto a program, or the trial automatically go inactive?
Yeah, you can set it up to do that, absolutely. So under the automation section, in this case, we're looking at automations for a trial. It'll load here. So there is a trial status conversion.
And that's automatically turned on.
It is, yeah. So and then if it's off for you, you can turn it on, or you can always go into templates here and add it again if you deleted it.
So that's going to be in automations, trials, and you want to make sure this is on, everybody, right? So let's click on that. What does that mean?
So what this is going to do is it's going to say for any trial registration that is on or after this date, if they are signed up for any trial.
Yeah, you want to do that, all, yeah.
Then if they sign up for any program, then I want the system to update them from active to enrolled.
So let's go back real quick. Can you put entry? So let's say I've never done this, right? And I'm like, how do I know what the system does? What if I go, let's say I've never turned this on and I've had 1,000 trials and I've been with MyStudio since 2018. Some of you guys are here for that. I appreciate you guys. You go back to who can enter this automation. Like if I go back and put September 1 of 2018, what happens?
Then it is going to see any trials that are active from 20 or that registered from 2018 on. If they have a membership as well, it's going to update their status to enrolled.
Okay, so then if I've never done this or if I need to clean up my data, this is a good way to start. I go back and say, right? And what is the formula that we use? So how do I know if someone's membership is tied to a trial, to a name? Like what is the conditions that I'm looking at here?
So our system creates unique profiles based off unique email addresses. So if the buyer is mom, for example, everything's under mom's email and she has different participants. So 1 kid, 2 kid, etc. So our
camera's also there if you want to.
Oh, sorry. So our system is going to check for that email address, that profile, if that participant is registered for both a trial and a membership. So it's checking that participant Carl had a trial, but now Carl also has a membership. So he is getting updated his trial to enrolled because our system can see that he has both.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the explanation. So to answer your question, will it automatically go to inactive? It will. If you have not updated or they have not signed up for that 1-day trial, right? Let's say you came to class. It's a 1-day free trial. You came to class and you leave without signing for a membership. What happens?
So it's going to keep the status as active. The only one that automates is it moving to enrolled if we can see that they enrolled. If you need to change their status to anything else, like canceled, if they decided they're not interested anymore, then that would need to be manually updated. But we keep it as active for you so that you can still follow up with that.
Can I give you a check on this? My understanding is I thought that if our system automatically moves someone if it's past their
It does not. You will not be able to check them in for attendance because they're outside their active dates, but the status is active because you might still be following up with them. They're not necessarily canceled yet.
Okay, so so that does not depend on the end date.
Correct. Yeah,
okay,
they can't check into class or anything if they're past their end date, but they'll still have that active status.
But I can set up an automation if I want to move them to an active.
No, it only does enrolled.
Okay, I don't know why you want to do that. You can, I mean, trials I think are like the gold mine of work, right? Do you want to make sure that we give every single opportunity for those people to enroll before you move them?
Yeah, you want to explicitly say they're not interested before you close them out.
Yeah, okay, perfect. All right. So, I mean, pretty self-explanatory for trial. So I have a question for you. Can you scroll up real quick? I can't see that because I joined late on my side on the webinar chat here. 2 weeks with 29. Sonia's doing a free class. David's 2 weeks. Ben is extended 30 and limited 99. Okay. First session, 2 weeks for class, 1 free class, 2-week trial. Okay. How do you check in for trials for the upcoming night? Mayhan, what does that mean? Like, how do you check for trials for the upcoming night? Like trials that is registered or trials that have maybe trials that have signed up for a class. So can you go to maybe the trials list perhaps?
So there's 2 places to check for your trials. So under all customers and then trial is going to be the actual student list. So it's going to default to show you everybody who's active. You can change that filter. So if you wanted to go back and see, everyone who enrolled or everyone who canceled, things like that, you can switch the filter, but it'll default to active for you. So you can check here. You can see when they registered. You could sort by start date and get those new starts. So this one we just signed up today together. You can see set to start March 18th.
You see that date there.
So that's available here. You can also go into operations, class appointment calendar, and check your specific classes. So for example, And because we named our class the trial class, that is going to make things a little bit easier for us. So on Tuesday, March 18th, I can see I've got trial lesson Tigers, 1 participant registered. So I can look into that trial lesson and I can see who all is signed up for that.
And you can also mark their attendance from here too, yeah, if they attended or not, right? To see, hey,
Yes.
did they actually attend the class?
Mhm.
You can also click into that participant as well. If you click into that participant, you should be able to see.
You can go to their profile.
Yeah, so click on that real quick, Megan. So there's my attendance there, right? I can click on the attendance
Mhm.
to kind of see, hey, did they actually attend for any class?
Mhm.
While they register, right? I do want to show you guys an update real quick here. Can you go to the all customers list and hit the lead, ma'am?
Mhm.
So a couple of things that we changed in the lead. First, do you see the opt-in date? Can you highlight that opt-in date there? So if you're tracking your leads, we automatically
Where?
no, right there, next to the buyer's name, the column says opt-in
Oh,
date.
yes.
Right there, we automatically move that opt-in date and automatically filter that by the most recent. We're doing the same thing for trials, and we're doing the same thing for memberships, right? Meaning, when you click into that membership list or trial list, it's automatically going to show registration date and sort that right next to it.
I think memberships does alphabetical, but trials does start date.
Yeah, but we're gonna do all of that right by start date now, okay? And the next thing that we see is, you see a little note section right there? Let's say I wanna add a note that trial did not show, right? I can click there, I can quickly add a note right here, saving us about 3 to 4 clicks coming in. So we're taking some of the functionalities that we are building in V2, we're putting it into V1 right away here because we can use it while people wait. So that's gonna be available for both trials and programs coming up soon for you to quickly add notes and communicate with other teams. And etc. Okay. So Sonia, maybe that's the way you can track if they sign up for a trial but no show, right? You can really take a look at their attendance and see, like, how many classes. Here as well, can you go to the trial section?
Mhm.
Do we have a one that says class? Like if they attended a class or how many class they attended in this?
So you've got
Last
attendance
attendance?
count.
So last attendance is important there, right? You see the last attendance column right there? That will show you if they attended a class yet or not, right? So that can quickly show you if they attended a class, or maybe they registered for a class, but then they didn't show for that class.
You do also have the option to do custom trial statuses. So in your trial setup, under the settings, you could add a custom status to indicate that somebody was a no-show. And then you could update people to that status and filter by people that signed up for a class but never attended, if you wanted to go that route as well.
Yeah, like a custom status that, like, signed up but no show, so maybe our team needs to do something different, an automation comes
Yeah,
up.
statuses are great because you can connect them to automations. So if you wanted the system to automatically email somebody who
Or
was a
text.
no-show,
I
or
recommend
text, yeah, or
text.
text them.
Yeah,
You could set it to, hey, when I set it to the custom.
can you show that real quick?
Mhm.
Right, so let's say I wanna have a custom status where they signed up for a class, but it was no show.
Mhm.
First off, let's set up the automation first, and I wanna ask you, how do we trigger that? Okay, so let's set up this automation.
Sure. So we're gonna select who this applies to. So if we wanted it to.
Let's start from today, right,
Yeah.
because it's a new automation. Yeah.
So start it for
Going
today.
forward, yep.
And then entry conditions. There's a few options here. In this case, we're basing it off a status. So we can leave it as trial status. And then instead of is active, you can
Custom.
select your custom status.
Yeah, so let's just say that says
No show.
no show for first class. Okay,
And then automation start time is going to be for any action that's not immediate. What time would you like it to send? So I usually just recommend setting it to a time when you're open. So if someone has a question and wants to reach out,
so you can call.
you're available.
Yeah.
And then actions is going to be what you want the system to actually do. So for example, we want it to send a SMS text message and we want it to send immediately.
Yeah.
You can create a new template or use an existing one. I'll just add this existing one just to be quick.
So if you can add that real quick, yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay, so in this particular case, if the trial status equals to custom, whatever that custom you set, right? Whenever I set that in the MyStudio system, it is automatically and immediately going to be sending this text out.
Correct.
Which says, "Hi, Megan, we want to reach out to say hello, and we let you know that we missed you at your first class. We'd love for you to reschedule. Here's a class link for you to reschedule your first class."
Yes.
Right? Okay, so let's save that. How do I, as an instructor or as an operator of a studio, execute this? So you can go to your, like, how would I work this list? Like, let's say I just ran my first class, trial class. 5 people were supposed to be in there, only 3 show up, 2 people did. What do I do?
So we're going to be coming out. Do you want me to actually save the campaign?
No.
Okay. So we would head over to our trial list in the all customer section. And we're going to edit their status. So if he did not show up for class, I'm going to change him from active to my custom status and update that.
Okay, so when you click update here, what happens?
If I click update, then that automation that I turned on.
Can you click it on?
There we go.
Where do you go?
So he has disappeared from the active list because it's filtered to show me active statuses. So if I go to my filter, if I want it to not just show active, I could also do all statuses and hit filter.
Let's put in an update on there. Like, all custom statuses should be active. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't want people to disappear from my list as I'm working them. So can you make sure you update that, get that to our product team, so that all custom statuses and active statuses should be here all the time, right? Okay. So anyway, sorry, that was a product update there.
Yes, but they are here. They do have that updated status, and again, any automations you made. So in this automations trials that you triggered based on that status.
So that text was sent right away.
And then it would get sent. Yes.
Okay. So that's just a quick way to work your trials, how to set that up, how to add an automation to that, right? Of course, you can see you can add registration for someone when they register right away, shoot out automations, etc. Okay.
Yes, welcome emails are a popular one for that.
Yeah. All right. So we have a couple of questions here. Like, why does the email say bounce in red? What the heck does that mean?
Sure. So bounce indicates that our system tried to email that particular address and it never made it. In this case, it's because all these emails are fake. But usually it's a good indicator that there might be a typo in the email. At gmail.com is a popular typo. So you may need to update the address if it's marked as bounced.
Okay. How do I fix that?
Sure. So if the email is correct, you can click on it and unblock it, and we will attempt to email that same address again if you've confirmed that it's correct.
So what happens when I click unblock? Can you click on that? What does that mean right there?
So unblocked is going to give it a second there. So it's no longer red. It no longer says bounce, and it means the next time I try to email this person, it will try again. It does not send to anyone who has an active bounce status because it already failed once. So if you want it to try again, you unblock it.
And what if I unsubscribed? Is it going to show me that as well? It
will say unsubscribed in red instead of bounce.
Okay.
You can click on that and you can send them a request to resubscribe, but it will be on the person who unsubscribed.
So let's say I unsubscribe by accident, and I'm like, Megan, I'm not getting any of your emails about your special summer camps or your ninja nights. And you're like, well, that's because you unsubscribed.
So if you click on the unsubscribed email, you get a pop-up similar to the bounce one, but instead of unblock, you send them a request to resubscribe. And then they have the opportunity to resubscribe.
So I will get an email and I have to manually press, I would like to subscribe to Megan's martial arts.
You have to resubscribe, yes. Okay. You cannot resubscribe somebody for them. Otherwise, we all would get resubscribed to every spam we've ever.
Bill is asking, since you are so awesome, should we assume that our help center is easy to follow, like how you are explaining it?
So there's multiple resources that you can reference for your trials. We actually have, so any information icon is going to provide you like help videos here. So you can do that. They're usually more short form videos, like a minute to 5 minutes, that'll help give you a really good overview of the section you're in. We also have in the resources tab recordings of webinars that we've done on different sections, and there is an entire webinar just about trials going over a lot of the information that I did today.
And it's also, I think you did.
It is, yep, the webinar recordings are all me.
So Bill, to answer your question, yes, the videos that we have in our lead center and resource centers are exactly like Megan because she's the one that created it. Okay, Ben, you're talking about which automations are we working on? We're working on automations for trials. That was what we just went over, okay?
Yep, automations and then trials.
Yes. Barb, how are you, Barb? Our Olympian in Colorado. I don't have anything in my class appointment calendar. What did I miss? Sorry if this was covered. If you don't have anything in your class appointment calendar, you got to make sure to go create those classes, right? If you don't have, I'm sorry, go to the clipboard and go to class appointment calendar. If you don't have anything in here,
then no one is registered.
No one has registered, or you're not taking attendance in class, right, through the attendance system. So reach out to us via support, Barbara. We can kind of help introduce you a little bit more to that.
It's not going to just generically show you every class, only ones that have a registration. So for example, that trial lesson Tigers is only showing up on Tuesday the 18th. Because that's the only one I have anybody registered to.
So if Barb, you're saying I have all the classes but nothing for today, that is correct because maybe you haven't checked in anybody today yet, right? Unless your students are pre-registering for your class, you won't see them in the future, right? Like at Encourage, we don't register people for class. Like people don't have to register, they can come at any day. So in that case, this will only show previous history, okay, on how to do this. Okay. Dave is asking how to add a sibling to a current member profile. I recommend you to, when is the next webinar that we have?
We've got, our next one's on Monday.
Monday, what does that cover?
That one I think might be events.
Events, okay. We're having a lot of these seminars, David, and we're gonna cover memberships and managing them in these webinars. So I recommend you to do that, but if you wanna add a sibling to a current member profile, that's pretty easy. Go into that member profile, the buyer, right? So go to all customers. You can click program. Where you go programs is easier. So they're working with a student. So here you click the customer profile. So Megan, click on that there. That will then allow you to add a participant fairly quickly on there. Okay, again, that video is there for you.
Yeah, so this little plus button will be your best friend.
Yeah.
So you can add a registration directly to someone's account, and you can even select that it's a new participant.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go over this a lot more in detail there. Barb says, what if someone registered for wrong class?
You can reschedule.
Then you can reschedule them or you can delete them for that, right? So here, let's go to the class appointment calendar. Can you show that real quick?
I'll go to the trial. So coming in here, when I click on his name, so we have the profile option. You can also cancel or you can reschedule.
Perfect. All right. Perfect. So that's kind of a really good overview regarding how we use trials and going to the class calendar, connecting that to a class calendar, connecting that to an automation within the trial. Any additional questions, team? I recommend you to really check out the resource center, so those videos. Like Megan, can you click on that one more time?
Resources, and then the trials one's right at the top.
Yeah, David, I think we did record the video conference on Monday. So just reach out to support team and we can get that over to you. If other than that, if there's no more questions, thank you, Megan. Appreciate you guys joining us for this webinar today. Again, jump in on Monday at 3, is that correct?
Monday at 3 will be our next one, yeah.
For our next one, and then we'll get these calendared out for you guys so you can see what's upcoming a little bit more. This is kind of our MVP, or minimal viable product, to kind of see how's it working, but it seems like people are enjoying this, so we'll continue doing it. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.